everyone, and welcome to this Evolve podcast. Evolve Voice of Podcast, what is it? So it comes from the Evolve Commerce Club. Evolve Commerce Club is an exclusive community of senior international experts spanning different countries, different industries in more than 38 countries. And because at Evolve, we emphasize connections and we want to inspire people, we came up with this podcast. So Evolve Voices podcast will be somewhere where we can inspire people to grow. We can inspire people in, different fields. And I'll be leading the chapter for the EMEA region. My name is Mayssa Nasr. I'm a growth and marketing consultant. Today, I'm very happy to be hosting a friend and an incredible person, Andre Abi-Awad. Andre, who is the founder of Entrepreneurgy and a seasoned business advisor with over 16 years of experience spanning 55 countries. Andre is actually the go-to person for every entrepreneur today. Andre, welcome, and thank you for accepting my invitation.
Thank you, Mayssa, and I wish all the energy to everyone who's listening to us, and hopefully they get the value out of our discussion.
Yes, hopefully. So my first question for you, Andre, is if you can share very quickly your journey in becoming, a business advisor today and what actually inspired you to decide to go and support entrepreneurs globally.
Great. So one of the interviews that happened last week, one of the hosts told me, those who cannot do, teach. And I usually use the same sentence because, during our era, there are many so-called coaches, consultants, trainers, and so on. And with due respect to everyone, it's amazing when someone comes to a training, advisory, or consultancy with a lot of personal experiences, in addition to experiences shared by other people and businesses whom he worked with. From my perspective and my journey, I was bankrupt twice, starting my own business. So I went through all the challenges that an entrepreneur can face. And the first one, it was a bank loan. I lost it in 8 months. I had to pay it back for 5 years. And I come from a very poor family, and I'm the one who was taking care of the family. So it was very hard. I went through 4 months of depression. And the second time, it was all the money I had. I put it in a business, and it was also another mistake. I learned a lot from all these ventures until 2022, May 2022. One of my companies operating in 11 countries was acquired by another company. And that was a great acquisition for me. So I believe, they say the third one is the one that counts. So basically, after 2 bankruptcies, the third one was an amazing one with a great team by my side. I didn't do it alone. It was a great team and a great partner also. We were able to scale our business to 11 countries and then to sell it and exit the business. From this journey on a personal basis,
yes,
that I started at the age of 16 by developing websites and web hosting company and so on. But the major ones were the ones I've mentioned now. I share my experiences. And on top of that, I've worked one-on-one with more than 3,200 entrepreneurs. That's one-on-one, not in a group setup, on helping them start to grow the businesses. In addition to, I launched the first Arab podcast in 2014. That's 14 years ago, interviewing successful business owners. And we were number 1 on iTunes for 16 weeks. I was interviewing every Monday and Friday a successful Arab business owner. So I shared their journey and I learned from them. And I also convey their lessons and challenges to everyone that I'm working with, in addition to those who I worked with as an advisor. So with all this package, I loved giving back from my experience and the experiences of other people that I've worked with. And that's how people started asking for my advice. And then I said, I like it. I'm delivering good value. I'm seeing the transformation and the successes and achievements with everyone I'm working with. So let's start being a business advisor.
Amazing, very inspiring story, Andre. And so tell me, you said that you work with 3,200 entrepreneurs, right? So what are today, in your opinion, the most common challenges that entrepreneurs face?
Well, when we say entrepreneurs, there are different stages and also different industries, different challenges. If I want to say the most common part for those who are starting as an ideapreneur, I'm calling them, those at the idea stage, many of them, they fall in love with their solution. And whenever you fall in love with your solution, it's the same as the first relationship. Like, you don't see the flaws, you don't see the challenges, you don't see, may I think you're blind And being blind in business is as hurtful as being blind in a relationship with all the challenges that come from the breaking up. So we tell people, don't fall in love with your solution. Make sure the problem is a pain and you are solving the pain. So, all of us, we forget to take our vitamins, Mayssa, and those who are listening us. We forget to take our vitamins, but no one forgets to take their painkiller because there's a reminder, the pain. So whenever you are launching a startup or launching a product or a service, make sure you're positioning it as a painkiller, because also there's another lesson from those who fail. They think that everyone is their target market. No, that's also another lesson. You need to make sure you identify those who have the pain, a very specific target audience, a niche, and then you position your product or service as a painkiller. So don't fall in love with the solution. Make sure you know who you are targeting. And this will help you a lot with the messaging, the language you're using, the positioning, the pricing, the channels, and also everything. These are two. The third one, which I see from the beginning till also the growth stage, many entrepreneurs and also established business owners, and I'm surprised how many are they from my experience, they don't know their numbers. And their numbers, it's not like the P&L only. It's not like the cash flow, how much do you have money? No, there's a lot of, I like ratios because ratios can show me different aspects of the business, and also it can guide me with the decision making. And many business owners, they don't even have a clear P&L. So how about ratios, reports, numbers, and so on? And this is also another failure. On the early stage, many entrepreneurs, they have a great product or a service, but they don't know how to market it. They don't know how to go to the market. And this is also another failure. I see people who they have an invention, like they have a patent, and it's needed, but for them, they are the technical people and they don't know how to market, and they didn't find a partner who can help them with this. So yeah, there are many lessons, by the way, but these are like the most common that I see, specifically that I work with many incubators and accelerators, and they attract those with ideas, and these people are the technical people. So one like need is the marketing as a partner or as a skill, and the numbers as a partner or as a skill, or to know how to value and make decisions based on numbers.
Interesting. And how do you usually guide those entrepreneurs? So you said you do one-on-one, right, with them. So without revealing your secret recipe, of course, but how do you usually guide them, just step by step for them to actually, because today it's mainly the word of mouth who's Andre Abi-Awad is getting more and more entrepreneurs to be guiding because of this word of mouth. So what you are doing is actually working. So if you can just let us know, in a nutshell, how do you guide them? How do you guide these entrepreneurs?
There's no secret recipe, because in my experience, I worked with hundreds of incubators, accelerators. And by the way, I started the first entrepreneurship center in a university in Lebanon in 2012. That's 12 years ago. And I was one of the founding members of the Global Entrepreneurship Week in Lebanon in 2010. So with all the experience I've got through the past 16 years in the entrepreneurship ecosystem and around the world in 55 countries, as you mentioned, how do you get creative? By increasing your general knowledge, increasing your exposure to a lot of experiences, and being curious about how things operate, how things are succeeding, why things failed, and so on. And then with the creativity, let's say, framework, you connect these ideas and you come up with more ideas. Usually in my training, I tell people, if I have an apple and you have an apple, I give you my apple, you give me your apple. How many apples do you have? It's an easy answer. How many apples do you have?
One. Yeah, because I gave you mine, you gave me yours.
If I have an idea and you have an idea, I give you my idea, you give me your idea. How many ideas do you have?
2. Because I have mine, I give it to you, and then you give me yours.
I know that you have 2 kids, and I will ask you to ask this question to your 2 kids, because one time I was delivering this training, and there was a mother with her child, 9-year-old child, and this child answered the best answer that I've had, and she said, in Arabic, she said "موضوع," which is like, you can translate it as a story, for example.
Story,
Two ideas will give you a nice story. And this is very, very, very smart, because whenever you join 2 ideas, you have not only 2 ideas, they inspire you to come up with more ideas, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they start breeding ideas. That's the That's the beauty of brainstorming when you start getting ideas and there is this storming of ideas again. So just to go back to your question, so there's no secret recipe, but as much as you are exposed to a lot of knowledge, you keep reading, you keep being curious, as I mentioned, Steve Jobs said, stay hungry. And stay hungry for what? Stay hungry for ideas, stay hungry for knowledge, stay hungry for experiences, and so on. So this is the first part. In terms of my work with entrepreneurs, you know the basics, and everyone knows about the business model canvas, but not everyone knows how to use it. Sometimes I go and I train on the business model canvas and people tell me, oh, I've took this training. I tell them, stay till the end. And at the end, they tell me, now I understood it. And you know, the best part, when people who did an MBA or a master's in entrepreneurship, they come to me and they tell me, I did a master's and I got this training like maybe 10. So today I got the real essence of how to use and think about the business model, because people think that your business model canvas, these 9 blocks, it's like questions and blocks that you're answering. And this is the super basic, non-significant way of using the business model canvas. So we do it in a more, let's say, elaborative way. We think about it in depth. We create a connection between all these blocks and how we can differentiate the business. When I ask people, how do you grow the business? Usually they think about 2 blocks, either more value in the value proposition, more products, more services, more added value, and so on, or more markets in the customer segment. These are 2 out of 9. And I have hundreds of stories of people I've worked with or I've read about or studied who differentiated their business and grew their business based on the other 7, not only these 2. These are for the idea stage entrepreneurs. For the people who I work with, I'm a value builder advisor. That's my technical title, if you want. And value builder advisor, it's the person who helps you build value in your business. So we check what are the drivers of value, and there are 8 drivers that I work on. And what are the 8 drivers of value? Where are, for example, the areas of improvements? Usually we highlight 3 high impact drivers and we work on. It can be on your financial performance, growth potential, neutrality of the business, the sustainability in cash flow, the independence from the business owner, the recurring revenue, the customer satisfaction, many different aspects of the business that can help you increase the value of the business. And this is a framework that I've used, and I created my own, and I called it the Freedom Owner. If you go on my LinkedIn, there's a newsletter, it's called the Freedom Owner. Create a company that can thrive without you while you enjoy your personal freedom. So there are more than 100 plus articles about this subject that you can read on my newsletter. So there's no secret recipe, as I mentioned, but how much you know, how much you connect ideas, how much you are a good listener for the business owners and a curious mind to dig deep into things that really have impact on the business, you will be able to do it.
Nice. Andre, I know that you've supported many entrepreneurs in their exit strategies, right? So from your experience, what are the key factors that entrepreneurs should consider when they are planning to exit their business? Should they start from the beginning? Whenever they want to launch their business, they should think about this exit strategy, or no?
Nice question, especially at the end of it. You know, in 2019, Qatar Development Bank, which is a Qatari bank, they asked me to come and train their business owners, those that who they invested in or they supported, because they usually invest in businesses. And it was a 3-day program, I believe, about only exit strategy. And everyone were like, I remember I had people who had factories with more than 300 employees. I had people who had a chain of coffee shops in Qatar. One person was in the construction field. His inventory alone was more than $1 million value. One in the pharmaceutical industry. And one person that I still remember, he had 3 factories, food and beverage. And the second day, he came to me and he said, you know, I always knew how to start businesses. I never knew how to exit businesses. So now, after the training, now he had this aha moment on how to plan to exit the business. The exit process, it's a journey. It's not like let's say a block in the nine blocks of a canvas or anything. No, it's a journey. So I believe, as Stephen Covey said, start with the end in mind. So start with the end in mind. Start with the exit in mind. And you don't have to have the exit like strategy planned at the beginning, but having the exit in mind is important, because how you operate the business will be different when you know that you will exit it. And some people tell me, oh, how do you tell me to sell the business? My business is my baby. And I say, your business is never your baby. And if you treat it as your baby, that's the reason of the burnout for hundreds and thousands, hundreds of millions of entrepreneurs having the burnout, because they consider their business as their baby. And usually I use this in a humorous way. I say, you know, Gibran Khalil Gibran, the author, the Lebanese author and international author, he said, even your childs are not yours. They are the child of the children of life. So, or the world. So whenever you consider your business as your baby, remember your children are not yours. So even your business is not yours. At a certain point, they are adults. Same for the business. They will leave the house, so they will leave you. And don't wait until it's forced on you. And forced, it can be, let's just mention different aspects. It can be disability. So sometimes the business owners, they face disability. I'm saying physical disability. I hope not mental disability, but sometimes you have the physical disability. Sometimes you have the divorce, and we know many people who created their businesses with their significant other, and they also got this, they closed the business because of divorce. And divorce is not only for the significant other. I know many brothers, sisters, family businesses who, yesterday I discovered one who already they split the business in two. Sometimes it's death, but we don't want to go there, but it happens. Sometimes there are taxes. Sometimes you have you fall into this loop of not knowing your numbers and paying a lot for the taxes and the fines and so on. And you see that you cannot sustain the business, and then you have to close it. So don't wait until the forced exit. Make sure you plan it. Sometimes the planning can be to your managers. You exit to your managers. There is the managers buy in, managers buy out, exit to second generation. Sometimes you exit and you are staying as a chairperson. You don't have to leave the company.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
the chairperson, you sit on the board, and so on. So the exit journey, it's a journey, it's a process. If you think about it early on, it will be great at a certain point. Even if you did not sell the business, whenever you need to attract investment, if your business is exitable, it's investable.
Exactly. So this is a perfect, bridge to my next question, about, fundraising actually. So you also help, entrepreneurs and company in their fundraising, right, strategy. So here again, what are, if you want, the key pillar for a good, because everyone, they do pitches, right? They do beautiful presentation. They have their story in mind, but at the end, most of them do not get what they want, right? So if you have like one or two advices for these entrepreneurs who today are seeking investment and fundraising, what would be these advice?
My point of view, don't follow the money. Whenever I work with a business owner or an entrepreneur, I prefer to choose or find a strategic investor instead of a financial investor. And
Interesting.
if business owners are not in urgent need for the money or the funds, I usually guide them through a process. Maybe I sometimes jump as an advisor, and I help them structure their fundraising process or journey into attracting a strategic investor instead of going to a financial investor. So imagine you have any business, and instead of having, for example, $1 million in funds, you get someone who partners with you with little equity, not as much as giving you $1 million, but they give you access to 300 potential clients, because they are their clients already. So this happened to us. One of the businesses that I'm an advisor was equity in the business. This year, we attracted an investor who invested in terms of funds, because we wanted to continue registering our patent, because we were filing our international patent. We had it in some countries. That's one, and also grow the operations. Also, he gave us access to his factory, which is worth more than $1 million. That's another thing. And by him being an investor in the company, he gave us access to 240 potential clients who are his clients in another company. So just imagine if we just go to these people with this guy or a manager in his company, and we tell them, you bought from us this equipment, whatever, we have an upgrade to it. So if you would like to save money, increase productivity, and so on, let's put this another equipment on it. And this was, for me, this year, this was the best strategic investment that we've got to this company. So instead of thinking about the money, and sometimes people and entrepreneurs, they forget to read the terms. It's like when you take a loan from a bank and you forget to read the small caps,
Yeah.
these small letters.
Yes.
Because like everyone took the loan, let's just sign, and then you discover that you signed on many red flags that you have to keep in mind. So there are the term sheets, there are the terms whenever you're getting investment. Make sure you have a lawyer who already went through these processes, not once, not twice, at least 20, 30 times if possible. And so they can advise you well. And even if your lawyer is reading them, read them yourself just to be aware, get more information, ask questions whenever you're getting an investor. Because sadly, some companies, and one of them I'm very sad about, Lebanese company 5-6 years ago, they closed when they achieved being an international company with warehouses in 4 continents and clients all over the world. Mistake with one of their investors, they had to close the company. And it's a very sad story. Yeah.
Yeah. So exactly, because when you have investors, you need to build the relationship with them, right? It's not only, okay, we have you as an investor. Okay, fine. We'll continue business as usual, right? So you need like a constant, I don't know, maybe calls with them just to let them know, or reports, right? You have reports for investor that you usually do, right? So this is important.
It's a journey, and whenever you get a partner, because the investor is also a partner and even a business partner, it's like you got married. It's not like the civil marriage that's very easy to divorce, for example. No, it's in Lebanon, we say it's like the Maronite marriage. It's so hard to get the divorce, and it's a long process to get the divorce. I was a speaker in a Facebook event in 2019, before they got called Meta. It was a Facebook event. And one of the entrepreneurs asked me, I closed my business this year because I had conflicts with my partner. Now I'm relaunching another business with another partner. What's your advice with this new partner? As I mentioned earlier, creativity is when you connect a lot of ideas and suddenly your brain come up with a different, divergent idea, and it's like strike of insights. This happened on stage. That's why I always remember this incident. And I said, whenever you're starting a business, you want victory, and this is the sign of victory. And that's the same time the number 2 and the letter V. So whenever you want to partner with someone, you need to have the 2 V's. Same values, because whenever you have misunderstanding, if you have the same values, if you want to take a decision, values will help you get aligned. And same vision, because whenever you're growing, if both of you have different visions, you will split, you will have misunderstanding and a lot of trouble. So make sure whenever you partner with someone, you have the same values and the same vision. Also with the investor, I remember one of the business owners, I'll mention his name because I guess he told this on my podcast. He sold, okay, not telling his name because I'm not sure if he said this on the podcast or privately. So he sold his company for $64 million in 2012.
Okay.
Before selling it, he wanted to rebrand the company because they had a very old branding, black and whites in the 90s. The board of investors, they didn't approve the request of rebranding the company. And he had to lobby with the investors and the partners for 6 months to convince them to rebrand the company. And that's only branding. Yeah, it's not like a major decision. It's only branding to make it more appealing, to make it more like relevant to the market. And he showed me the old logo. It was like literally black and white, So he told me, my investors were financial investors and their background was in banking. So basically they only look at the numbers. Who cares about your branding? So make sure they have the same values and the same vision.
Nice. That's very good advice. One last question around this, entrepreneur stuff. Where can people find investors? I know because some clients actually, they who are struggling, they go sometimes on LinkedIn, they try to search for it, they go on Google. Are there any platforms out there, or what's the key? I mean, what can a partner do, a CEO, an entrepreneur do to actually find good investors?
There are many platforms that I don't use.
Okay.
And there are many, like I get this posts on LinkedIn where someone says, comment with, let's say, investors, and I will send you a sheet of 10,000 investors and VCs in whatever, all industries. I'll never do this because like if you know how to attract and communicate and build a relationship with an investor, you know that this won't work. It won't work. Yeah. And if it works, that's like amazing. You're so lucky. Please tell me
Yeah.
about it. Okay. So at the early stage, I believe people need to build the value of their business before getting an investor, because you're giving equity for an investor.
Yes.
Now you have these safe notes, convertible notes. You have many different, let's
Yes.
say, vehicles to get the money. But at the beginning, we all say go to your friends and family. And then once you have enough value in the business, traction, or at least validation, go to the third F, the fools. The fools, family, friends, and fools. And fools, it's not like the bad fools.
Yes.
Fools are those crazy people who really believe in taking the risk.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and sometimes they are angel investors. Sometimes they are people in your industry, or they complement your industry, and they see an opportunity. So they say, okay, I'm going to push you. I'm going to support you with a little of fund. But as a business owner who is looking for investment, and I'm talking about big ticket investments, you need to build the network to reach this, because one of the major factors, and I have a training that I deliver, which is investment readiness. And one of the major factors whenever an investor look at a pitch deck or an opportunity, one of the criteria is, how do I know this entrepreneur? So how do I know where did this entrepreneur come from? Who
Okay.
referred this entrepreneur? So build your network. As an entrepreneur, you need to be a networker at heart. You need to build your network every day, because you never know how you get the investment. The one that I told you early on,
Yes.
the strategic investor was the $1 million factory and so on. I'm a member in a business network community, like a community of business owners. So I mentioned this opportunity to this network, and one of them said, very interesting, because he's in the industry. He said, very interesting. I would be interested to invest. And then when I knew that his cap is $100,000, I said, honestly, we need more. So if you know someone who can lead on this, who can give more, let us know. And he was the one who introduced us to the other investor. He
Nice.
said, yeah, if you want more, this one can help you. And he went with us to the first 3 meetings. He was with us in the meeting until, like, at the end, the investor wanted to be alone in this round of funding. And this guy, he said, okay, fine, I will join maybe later on in another round of investment. And he went out. So his credibility was very important for us to reach this investor. And you never know where it comes from. Like yesterday, I was talking with someone in Spain, one of the people I've met last October in a conference. So go to conferences, meet with people, and now they are doing trade financing. And we were discussing the same thing. Networking is very hard. So whenever you have an opportunity, it's better to start with those you trust and the people around you, and specifically those who are in investment scene, business scene, who have like key influencer, not those who have thousands of followers on Instagram and YouTube. No, influencer, like business influence, and they are capable to do the investment. So it's about networking, and you will have to really build this network. And one more tip: if you find someone who might be an investor later on, ask them, would you like me to keep you in the loop about our updates? And send them sometimes we send quarterly updates about what you have achieved, what you have done, a deal that you've taken, and so on. And whenever you do so, and I've seen it myself, I invest in a company after reading their reports for like maybe 2 years. I invested with them. Why? Because I saw how determined they are. I saw how they are keep innovating, pivoting, and I've met them in Denmark this year. They showed me what they have done. They showed me the deals that they have got, and they didn't ask for the investment. I
Okay.
asked,
Nice.
are you fundraising?
Okay.
So
Nice.
keep people in the loop, and someone who's really looking for an opportunity, you will be on top of their mind. So whenever they want to fund or to put their funds somewhere, you will be on the top list.
Amazing. Yes. So talking about networking, you founded Entrepreneurgy, right? Like 10 years ago. Today, I think you have more than 5,000 entrepreneurs as a community there, right? Entrepreneurgy is actually a community, right? It's a networking, of entrepreneurs. So
Mm-hmm.
today, if any entrepreneur wants to be part of this community,
Mm-hmm.
right? What can this entrepreneur do? So he needs to go on the website. So what should we do as entrepreneurs to be part of this community, actually?
Pre-COVID, it was active online on a Facebook group. It's called Entrepreneurship Community. You can still join it. It's not that active so far, but whenever we have any event or anything, we mention that. We are very active on LinkedIn mainly, and sometimes Instagram whenever we have an event. So if you just follow the company on LinkedIn or on Instagram, whenever we have events, you can join us. We are doing an event called 100 Entrepreneurs Gathering. It's a gathering of 100 established entrepreneurs, not idea stage entrepreneurs. At the beginning of the event, it's like 2 hours private networking for only the 100 entrepreneurs, and we usually list them on the website. And the next 2 hours or 1 hour, depending, every time we adjust the schedule, it's open networking for everyone. So if you would like to meet with 100 established entrepreneurs in different industries and sometimes in specific industries, you can join these events. And once you join our newsletter or any event, whenever you subscribe to any event, we do webinars, we do online networking sometimes, you will keep on getting our updates and join us. So one of the things we've done, we partnered with Orica Show, Hospitality Services, the company. And this year actually, in April, we did the 100 Entrepreneurs Gathering Orica Edition. And next year also, we're doing it Orica Edition. So for the industries, hotels, restaurants, catering, coffee shops, in the hospitality, they can join this event. We did it in Lebanon. Next, we're doing it in Saudi Arabia. And also we have different other events. For example, we have Lebanon Works, which is an entity gathering Lebanese business owners. We're doing this in Lebanon with them. And maybe it's a scoop. I'll say it here on this podcast. Hopefully people will be able to join us. We're doing it in Copenhagen, Denmark next year in 2025 for creative entrepreneurs. So for the creative industry. So if you're new in Europe, you can also join us.
Nice. Very interesting. Okay, amazing. Before going to the closing and inspirational questions, just 2 questions about, advice for entrepreneurs, right? So my first question would be, if an entrepreneur is just starting out, what's the one piece of advice, if you have only one piece of advice you believe is the most critical one, what would that be? I know there's a lot of advice that you can give, but if you have to choose only one, what would that be?
I'll say it in one sentence and then I need to elaborate.
Okay, go ahead. Yes.
So make sure you have the 3 M's. That's it. Okay, now what are the 3 M's?
Elaborate.
So the first M is the market. Make sure there are enough people who want your product and service. And within the market, make sure you position your product or service as a painkiller, not as a vitamin. And within also the market, make sure you have the channels to reach these people. That's in the market. It requires study, as you can see. And the second M is the margin. Make sure you have enough profit margin to sustain your business. So basically, you need to know your costs, direct and indirect cost, and also the pricing model, so you know that you are sustaining your business. You are having enough cash flow and profit to sustain the business. And the last M is me. And this is the most important one, but I keep it till the end. Is this business relevant to your lifestyle? Does it fill your lifestyle? Because some people, they would like to open a coffee shop, for example, but they are not ready to sit in the coffee shop, monitor. Some people, they would like to start a tech company, development company, but they don't like to sit and for like 2 hours or 3 hours on a laptop, brainstorming, checking the code or whatever. Some people, they want to do marketing, but they don't know how to do storytelling. They don't like to talk. So make sure your business idea fits your lifestyle. So whenever you're operating it, you are ready and you are passionate to stay in it, and also you are ready to overcome the challenges.
Amazing. So we're getting, to the closing and inspirational questions. So one of the questions would be, you as Andre, what is the best advice you've ever received that has, shaped your approach to business and maybe to life?
Yeah. What helped me overcome my second bankruptcy and make sure I start successfully. And on the 8th of August 2014, I wrote it online. I wrote, I will never be an employee anymore. And why? Because this quote, it changed my lifestyle, my mindset, my habits, my everything 2 times in my life. When I shifted from engineering to sales early on in my career, and then when I decided to be an entrepreneur, and I was reflecting on why did I bankrupt? Why was I bankrupt twice? And the quote is, you are the average of the 5 people you interact with the most. So choose wisely. If you want to upgrade your lifestyle, choose people who have this upgraded lifestyle. If you want to be promoted in your career, make sure you are around people who already have this position. If you want to be a business owner, make sure you mingle and you network with successful business owners. And whenever you are with these 5 people who achieved what you want to achieve, what you will gain is actually the habits and the mindset. And these are very important for you to grow and then acquire other skills.
Nice. I know you read a lot of books. So if you have one book for our listeners to go buy it and read it, what would be this?
There's a book I read once a year, every year since 2008. And now I read it at the beginning of the year, 1 chapter a week, just to keep reflecting on it. It's Think and Grow Rich. And you will be amazed that this book, every time I read it, I find a new insights. And every time I read it, I reflect on my life in a different way. I believe Napoleon Hill, the author, he took 20 years to write this book by interviewing the most successful 500 people in his era. So if we just read this book, that's a lot of lessons from amazing people, and it will be enough to shift our mindset also and help us grow. By the way, the other quote, you are the average of the 5 people you interact with the most, so choose wisely, is for Jim Rohn, just to give the credit.
Yes. Andre, what's next for you? What's your mission today? What's next for you as Andre? You already have a lot of, on your plates. You're already helping a lot of entrepreneurs in all these countries. So what's next? I'm not going to say what's your dream or what do you want to achieve, but what's next?
Mayssa, on the personal level, I always seek growth. So in terms of personal growth, skills, knowledge, network, everything. Growth is on different levels, even on the personal life and different aspects of your life. But if I want to say one goal I have, and I keep on working on it every year and year after year, I want to be a speaker trainer in 100 countries. So far, I'm 55% done, 55 countries. And every time I have the opportunity to go to a new country, I say yes, because it's good. Some people say I want to inspire 1 million person, but basically, I believe maybe I've reached somewhere close hundreds of thousands of people. Maybe not 1 million yet, but hundreds of thousands of people. But basically doing it in different countries is amazing. And you know what I really like? On Wednesday, I came back from Iraq. It was my first time I go to Iraq. And since 2010, usually entrepreneurs come to Lebanon, or I train them online from Iraq. I never went there. So when I went to this conference, it's an entrepreneurship conference, and they asked me to be there as a speaker, trainer, and so on. People came to me and they told me, we know you, we've been following you for years.
Nice.
People came to me and told me that some trainers came to me and they said, we are inspired by you. We keep following your news and we watch your webinars, we watch your speeches to learn from you. One of them, he even showed me that every time I'm on stage, he was recording me. And he told me, we're going to study how you speak. I was like, I'm so flattered, but like, that's a lot. So I like it when I go to a new country and people already know about me or already have been following me. And I'm amazed when some people tell me that you changed my life. Like in Oracle, a guy came to me and he said, Andre? I said, yeah, I didn't know him. I said, yeah, hello. He said, you changed my life. I was like, thank you. How did I change your life? He said, you remember in 2015, like that's 9 years ago. Yeah? He said, in 2015, you were speaking in a university and I came to you, I told you about my idea and you pushed me to come pitch at your event. I said, yes. And he said, since the day I went to your event, everything happened in a good way. And since then I was working on my idea. Now I am an exhibitor at Orica. amazing, you know? Like, I love it. So you know, sometimes like it's only one action, one step, one word.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Andre, for joining us today. Thank you for all this insightful advice. I know that I learned a lot today. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And, you know, as Andre said, success in business begins with the right mindset and the right strategies. So stay inspired and keep evolving. Thank you.
Now make sure you subscribe to Evolve Voices, this leading and incredible project where our ambassadors are interviewing amazing professionals from all over the world so they can share their perspective and benefit you with their perspective, their knowledge, and you can understand what's happening in the different markets. Evolve Voices is a project part of the Evolve Commerce Club, the #1 and leading community where we connect international professionals in the world of commerce. We are now connecting professionals in more than 40 markets, and every week we invite an expert to share their perspective and their knowledge. So if you'd like to know more, you can always look at the comments. We have a link there so you can request your application and stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for watching. All the best. Ciao.